Okay, I know this may seem like a very weird video. It's something on my mind. I don't even know how to really start the video, just to say we all know that we are heading to one destination on this planet. Am I right? Am I right or am I wrong? We all know that we are heading to the grave. We all know that one day we are going to die. And I think this is what each one of us should be doing, is we should be facing our mortality. We should be looking at death and what death signifies for us in this life. I don't think that we should indoctrinate and condition people to talk about living and getting things and having everything and accomplishing and striving towards things. I know these things give people a reason to live, but hear me out. There's so few people that understand what I may mean when I say this as a person. I know for me, I know that I'm going to die one day. I could die tonight. I could die any second. I could fall over from a heart attack. I could get hit by a shooting star. Somebody can be driving erratically that's drunk and could swerve off the road and hit me. There's a million possibilities that can happen. There's a million and one ways to die. But what I mean is, it's like nobody talks about these types of subjects while we're alive. And then when this comes, nobody knows how to deal with it because you've never talked about it. You've shunned it your whole life. You've put it on the back burner and said, oh, that will happen one day. That's so far away. No, not really. It's not that far away. It's not that many moments away. And listen, see, this is a topic that I do not want to get depressed about. I don't want to fear death. I don't want to fear the fact that I know that I'm going to die one day. I don't want to fear the fact that I know one day I will no longer be here breathing and thinking and talking and doing whatever with my life. And I want to be able to accept that for what it is and do what it is that I can while I am here on this earth. And to it's like, it's such a paradox in and of itself, because lately I have been changing my mind about a lot of things that I was talking about from before. And listen, we are all going to change our mind in this life. It isn't, you're going to be changing your mind with a lot of things as you go through life. You're going to say, I was wrong about this and I didn't think it was what I thought it was. But that's for the people that are not in denial of what's going on in life. People that are in denial, they're going to go their whole lives thinking that they're right about everything, thinking that they made the right decision with everything they did, thinking that the religion they're into is the right thing, and there's an afterlife waiting, and they are a chosen person, and things like that. And look, if that's what they want to do, they have every right to do that, because I can't judge that person, because I have my own little things that I have changed my mind on. And one of them is, I don't call myself an atheist, and I don't call myself a believer. And I almost hesitate to call myself agnostic, But the more that I go through this life, and the more that I learn about things, and the deeper that I dig into this, it's almost like I can't not tell my brain, I can't not tell myself that there is not something behind this thing. And we can go into so many directions. We can, we can talk about this, or we can go this way and say, oh, well, maybe it's this, and then there's people out there, you think differently. You go, there's nothing. There's no reason to do anything because we're all going to die and it's going to be over and nothing matters. And look, even those types of people, I can't judge you. That's what you think. That's what you think, then that's what you think. Everybody has the freedom to think what they want. As long as it's not hurting me or someone else, then hey. But the thing I'm getting at here is, it's like every time that you start digging deep into like knowledge and understanding, it's always the conditioning and the indoctrinations and the things that we've been taught from, the generations before us. Those always come into the topic. It's never like we're moving on from that, like those things. And this thing has been going like it has been going for centuries. And I'm one of these guys where I say, I think there is a lot more to this human experience than what we are experiencing, because I'll agree with a lot of y'all, and I do agree with a lot of you. It's like when we say, is this it though? We're missing something when we say, is this it? I mean, you can't not look around. Come on, let's not lie here to ourselves. You can't not look around and say, even though, see, anything that you call beautiful has an ugly side. And anything that you call ugly has a beautiful side to it. It's the paradox. It's the irony. It's the contradiction. It's the epitome of hot and cold, left and right. Everything that is on this side and this side, it kind of, all of this chaos going all over the place, it kind of comes into its own ball, like it's all here. And it's so hard to describe this to people that are just one-sided, or only think of one thing and think that they are right about everything. And they can't let their worldly pride down to know anything else. And we're not even attempting to use the parts of our brain that can maybe get out of this mindset where, oh, this is it, and there's nothing to do here, it's all lost. And yes, I agree with people on a lot of those aspects, but I refuse to think that we were just born to come here and to just live, eat, sleep, shit, go to a job that we hate, and we're bitter and we're angry and all these different things, and we just say life sucks. And it's like the Buddha said about, he looked around and he seen a dead man, a guy suffering, and something else, and he said life is suffering. He put it in those simple terms, but life is not all suffering. See, this is where I disagree with these quotes and these statements. Life is not all suffering. There are days where I have amazing days. I have days, and I'm not boasting about that fact, but I have days where I'm making music and I'm doing these things that I do, and I'm wondering, where is this coming from? Where is this? Okay, you can call me manic, or you can say, oh, well, you just have more serotonin in your brain than someone else, and you can just go about it 1,001 ways. But I say, where does this come from? Where does the ability to know how to do these things come from? Where does this consciousness that we have come from? How did the brain and the body become conscious of itself? I mean, when you think about this stuff, everybody wants to go to some scientific answer. And listen, I know I am more on the side of science than I am of just guessing and saying things and saying, oh, well, it's spirituality or it's God and all this. But the more that I go on in this life, it's like if there is some type of intelligence or God or something that has did this or something that is bigger than us that we just don't know about. It's kind of hard to just say that there is nothing but this. And I know how everybody always says, well, where is God? Why is all this suffering happening? Why would God send his son to die on a cross for himself in a loophole that he created himself? I understand all those things. I've already looked into all that stuff. And I've asked questions, and I observed it, and I took it in, and I said, why would this be like this? Why would, if there is such a thing as God, or there is a creator, why would the creator sacrifice himself for us if that's true, if Jesus is a reality? And the more that I look into the gospel of the cross and Jesus, it's almost like if it is a reality, because I wonder who really believes in Jesus, who actually believes that there was a man named Jesus that died on a cross because of how we are as people, but he knew how we were as people. God knew. God created everything, right? I think that God, if there is such a thing, is God's own reflection, reflecting back on himself or itself. And it's like an artist. God is like an artist. He's like the ultimate creator artist that did this, and he is the very thing that has created itself and allows things to either go bad or go good. And he allows these things to happen or not happen, and everybody has a choice what to do. But the one thing that always holds me back and keeps me from going for this thing and saying there is a God, I know it, and I know that we all have a choice, and on and on and on. The one thing that keeps me from doing that is animals and nature, and how, like, why would he make it? Why would God make it so that animals have to do what they do every day? There's always something being ripped apart. There's always something being eaten alive. There's always something being scavenged or killed viciously without any type of feelings involved. But I wonder, there's this thing where this guy talked about how animals have this thing where humans know that they are having pain, and they know what pain is. And they said animals, they can feel pain, but they don't know that they're experiencing the pain. And then I say, okay, well, maybe, just maybe, somehow there's something with animals that we don't even know yet. Maybe they don't, in some way, maybe to pain they react. And this is not me using this as an excuse for animal suffering, because I am by no means sticking up for animal suffering or animals suffering the way they do. But maybe, how do we know exactly what an animal is feeling exactly. We can never know because we are not that animal that is having something happen to it. How do we know? And listen, here's what's so hard, because I have to say this before I go further in the conversation. I don't agree with boiling lobsters alive. I think that is cruel. That is inhumane. And we make a choice to do those things. And I think if we would kill cows and chickens and stuff, the way that we do it is not as inhumane, even though it's still not humane. It's not as bad as boiling something alive or something. At least they zap the chicken's head in water so that it goes unconscious in like a split second, even though that's not good either. It's not justifying the fact that animals suffer in the way, but do they even understand that they are going to be killed? Do they even have that type of fear? See, the animal question is the biggest question of mine that I can't, because see, people just look at animals like they're animals. Like a pig is different than a human being. And Mendham was arguing this fact about a pig and a Jew in a concentration camp. That pig is no different than the Jew that's about to be, put into the gas chamber. As horrible as it is, I don't even like talking about this stuff. But this is what they do to pigs. They put them in these things and they gas them and they do these things, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And they're squealing for their life. But this is man doing this shit. This is mankind doing this to the animal. And we're making a choice to do that. And we're making a choice to slaughter them. And we're making a choice to eat meat. And we're making a choice to do all of the things that we do. We don't have to do this. We have enough fruits and vegetables and other means. We can make soups. We can do a bunch of things without having to kill animals and eat animals. And I can't be a hypocrite. I don't eat meat all the time. Lately I've been eating it seldomly, but I'm not eating it no more. I made up my mind that from the other day, and I feel like a complete hypocrite for saying this, but as I was getting it, I said, no, don't. I'm not being a part of that. I am not being involved in the murder of another thing for me to eat it. I just can't do it anymore. I feel too guilty to do it. So I'm going on a soup, vegetable, and fruit diet. That's what I'm going on now. And a little bit of gluten-free bread with it. I'm just not doing it no more. I can't. My conscience fucks with me. I say, nah, I just can't do this. I will not do what everybody else does just because everyone else does it, because no one else thinks about animals. No one gives a shit that pigs are being slaughtered. Nobody gives a shit that cows are getting their fucking throats slit and they're sitting there doing whatever they do. And then we say, well, what God would allow this? What God would do this? What kind of creator would create something like this or like that and do this or that? But listen, here is what I'm saying. I don't see it like that. The Creator has given us a choice. If there is something, we all have a choice today, people. Every single one of us. And a lot of people, they don't want to hear that, I didn't want a choice. I didn't ask to be here and all this. Listen, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, you still have a choice. If I would say, you can pick the color red, purple, and orange, but if you pick yellow, even though it tastes good and it's something that's going to give you pleasure, but if you pick yellow, someone's going to get hurt. Something's going to happen to somebody. Would you pick yellow? I mean, if you have common sense and you're someone that has morals and you care for other people, or you care that things suffer and hurt, then you're not going to pick yellow. You're going to pick red, whatever colors I named, red, orange, and blue, you're going to pick one of those colors. And I'm just using that as a metaphor. I'm using that as a thing to explain what I mean here. And that's all that I do on this channel is I get us to think about things that we don't think of, things that I don't hear people talking about most of the time. The only channel that I even hear that's close to talking about these things is Gary in Mendham, INMENHAM, in Mendham, Mendham. And there's another channel I like that talks about the spiritual things, but he's also talking about how he's not an atheist and he's not a believer either, and that is capital D, capital S. And then there's a couple other channels I listen to, Gray Toch, Gray TAICH 03, I think it is. I don't know the exact number, but it's on my subscriber list. You'll see it. It's like a gray picture with an eyeball, and it's gray and white. It's a black and white picture. But anyway, it's just because everybody else is doing these things, it doesn't mean that we have to do it. And you know, lately I have been on this thing. It's such that there's not a word to describe it. I want to say like this weird, chaotic irony that makes sense but doesn't make sense. And I guess I can say I want to figure it out, even though I know that I'm never going to figure anything out. I still have something in me that says, I don't want to use figure it out, but it says there's something else that we are missing here right now in the history of mankind. I just feel like there's something that is wrong. There's something missing. There's something that we are not getting here. There's something that is lacking severely. And that thing, you know, I really wanted to think that there was some type of reason why we were here and there was something after this. And even if there isn't or there is like irrelevant, but at the same time, it's kind of relevant in my mind. I can't really convey what I am going for to get across here. It's almost impossible for me to explain it in words to the people that watch these videos. And I don't know how far you get in these videos, because I don't know if I'm boring people or people's attention spans ain't long enough, or I'm not saying something that you're interested in. Because in order for me to get my point across or to say what I really mean, it's going to take people to listen to the whole video. If you cut it off, then you're not going to know what I mean. You're not going to understand what I'm going for to convey here. But let's say is something else other than this. Let's just say that there is. Then that gives this life some kind of meaning, and we have a choice to do something that not a lot of other people are doing. And they say we only use 10% of our brain, so what is that saying? If there's another 90% of the human brain that we're not using, then what does that mean for mankind? What does that mean for humans if we're only using 10% of our brains? I mean, do we ever think of this stuff? So what about the other 90%? You know, what is up with all of that? What is that? Like, what does anybody even think to say, well, what if we used 20%, 30, 40, 50, even 50% of our brains? Then what would be going on here? It's like everything would be completely different. It's like we could, instead of growing the food that we grow now, like plants and other things, there could be like these plants that we mix together, and they're like a fruit, tomato, and cucumber all in one instead of just one fruit. This is how I think. Because while we're here, why not attempt, instead of killing animals for food, instead of doing these drugs that are no good for us, instead of doing all this stuff that's killing us and destroying and not doing a damn thing for us, why don't we make it different, or attempt to at least take the time and effort while we are here on this planet to do something different? And to do that, someone has got to put out a type of energy, and I have that type of energy. I have a vision for this thing, but people have to hear it and they have to want it. If they don't want it and they don't think there's no reason for it, then they're never going to do it. They're just going to sit around their whole lives and just wait to die. They're just going to wait until the day of their death, and they're just going to keep doing the same exact things every single day of life. I cannot live my life like that. That is so depressing. That is so, that's what makes me want to commit suicide, is thinking like that. And that's why I'm sorry. I just can't agree with everyone out there, even though I do videos on repetitiveness and vanity and meaninglessness and all this other stuff. I just can't go on that boat ride with you where you just are on the one side of the issue where you say, what does it matter? Don't do anything, just basically give up and die. Basically just get a shotgun and blow your head off, because what's the point of doing this? It's like, there's either that or what I'm talking about, and I just don't want to do that. There's something in me that screams, whether it's the survival mechanism in me, whether it is God or creator, whether it's just me, whether it's a delusion in my brain, whether it's whatever it is. I don't care what it is. That is not what matters anymore. That is irrelevant to anything. It's just, do you know yourself? I know myself, but I'm not saying that I know everything, but it's like, do we have anything that we have a vision for? Is there anything that we are attempting to look at other than everything that we know now? Other than everything that we do now? How we react now? How man is now? What we've been doing for history and what we've been doing for centuries? Do we think of anything else besides these things? Or, like I said, are we even attempting to do that? Do we even have the state of mind to do that? It's like, like I said, I am a full-blown rebel. I am in rebellion of how this whole thing is, even though some things I think do have to be the way they are. I look at most things and say, it does not have to be like this. There's another way. And I know there's something in me that screams there's another way. Even if people think I'm nuts, even if people think I'm out my mind or I'm having a manic episode or whatever, it's like, why would the brain be doing this? And I know how people are, they'll just, when they don't understand or when they don't discern what you're saying right away, they either want to flee or say you're wrong or shoot you down or say, man, you're crazy. What are you on? You're out there somewhere. And like I said before, maybe I am. Maybe I am out there somewhere, but you know what? I don't see it as being out there. I see it as being here all the way in myself. And it seems like I'm out there somewhere because everybody else is projecting everything and they're actually out here in all this. I'm looking at this and I'm looking back on me and saying, something's not right, something's wrong here, and I want to be the one to do something different about this shit. I mean, I really don't have anything else to live for. I swear to goodness, this is me being as absolute honest as I can be with people. I am on the tip of the iceberg, and the iceberg is slowly melting. And it seems like I don't have much time here. And I know I don't have much time because I don't have much time. If I get another lifetime, I will live to 72. If I do. And in 36 years, what is it that I can do? What is it that I can actually attempt to make different than what any other man in history, the history of mankind, has ever done? And not in my power. If there is some creator, if there is a God, if there is Jesus, then I am saying, give me that wisdom to do something about it. Work through me. Let me be the vessel for this thing, even if I have to die doing it. Because what does it matter? I'm going to be dead one day anyway. And that's the point that I'm at. I'm at that. It's not even a breaking point. I'm past the breaking point. I've already broke. I've already broken to this piece, and then that piece broke into another couple pieces. Then those pieces broke into more pieces. I'm all over the place. But yet again, those pieces are in here and here with me. They're not out there somewhere. They're right here in my mind, my thinking. And I need a way to vent this out because I feel like I'm not like anybody else. That's just how I feel. I don't care what people call it. Call it narcissism, call it, thoughts of grandeur, delusions of grandeur. You're manic, you're all these things. It's like, that is irrelevant. I don't give a shit about labels anymore. I don't care about people's labels. Because it's almost like I'm dead to this world, but I'm alive in this energy. I am alive in thinking different. I am alive in saying, what else is there? And even though I'm not, it doesn't seem like I'm doing anything. I'm doing a lot of things up here right now. Now, in order to put these things into action and actually do something about it, that's another ball game. But it's like preparation, actually attempting to maybe see something that nobody else does. You have to prepare for it. It has to start somewhere. But I wonder, is there anybody that is even close to starting something? Is there anybody that is even willing to go outside of the box, Is there even anybody that is even a little bit thinking different than the rest of the populace? And I just don't see it. I don't see it in anything that I'm looking in. And it's, this is just how I am. I don't know. Maybe I am a perfectionist. Maybe I am manic. Maybe I am all the things that I say, but I know there's something in me that it's like it has to get out. It has to do something different. It has to be different. It has to be the rebel that is going against the grain because nobody else will do it. And I do. I feel like it's just me doing this. I feel like I am on an empty planet somewhere and I got dropped off with a spacesuit and some tools in here, but I don't have the necessary, what is the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. Damn it. I don't have the necessary things, the things to do it with. I can't think of the word. I can't believe I can't think of the frickin' word. Unbelievable. See, this is, when I do that, that pisses me off when I can't think of something. The resources. I don't have the resources in front of me. I don't have the people that think similarly to that to do it with. So then I say, well, it's just me. And how can I do this myself? And it's like, this is why I don't want to collaborate or do nothing with anybody, because I'm like, well, do you have a vision? Is there something that you want to do that you actually want to do? It has to be in you. It can't just be me the one doing it. It has to be in other people. It has to be in, Joe, Tim, and Cindy. It has to be in them too. It can't just be me, the guy that has this vision for something. And look, I don't know, maybe people don't have this. Look, it's okay if you don't have it. I'm just saying, those who are listening, keep listening. I'm glad you're listening, and I would like for people to listen. But the type of thing I'm looking for is intelligent people that are after something different, that are going for something that no man or woman has ever done, and it doesn't hurt people or destroy things. It's something that is, I don't know the word to use. It's something that can make mankind understand mankind better, but it's not something that it doesn't boast. It's not something that is trying to be better than somebody or me versus you. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with figuring something out for like an artist mentality, somebody that wants to create something like a utopia for themselves, their own refuge. That's what I'm after. I am after a refuge of my own, that I can say, this is my refuge. This is where I belong. This is where I lay down when I'm tired. This is where I can go to say, hey, look, I need your help, and know that that person is going to help no matter what is going on. And I don't even know if there's such a thing as that. And the more that I think about this, and the part of my mind tells me, Nate, you are crazy. You are thinking way too much. But see, that is the limitation that's there, that is limiting myself, is the limitation that I know is saying I'm limiting myself by saying, you can't do this. It's impossible. But it's not impossible. There's nothing that is impossible. There are things that we could be doing here. There are things that we could be doing besides sitting in a room, being on a computer and writing comments and judging other people and discriminating and say life sucks and it's shitty and all this. I'm so tired of hearing people talk like this. I'm so tired of hearing it, and I know you're tired of it too. But I ask, where are those that are actually saying, well, what can we do about this thing? Enough with the complaining, enough with the saying there's nothing to do. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like you can talk to some people and some people understand, and the ones that don't understand, they're just going to they're going to stay right where they're at. And listen, maybe that's where they need to be, but I know for me, that is not where I want to be. I don't ever want to get back how I felt the last couple times that I've been feeling how I've got when I got really depressed and I felt suicidal. And I said, what is there to live for? Why am I here? What am I doing? And then I forget this vision and I forget this thing and I start doubting everything. I start doubting myself and I start doubting that I can make a difference. And I know that I can if I had the resources and I had the things to put my thing into plan, but I'm not somebody that is rich. I don't have a bunch of stuff. I don't have the necessary tools right now to do what I am going for to do. And maybe I will never do it. Maybe this will influence another person to do this in the future. I don't know. Maybe I don't have it in me to do. Maybe I never will, but I'm not telling myself that. That's just the bullshit in my mind that's telling me that. I'm telling myself that I can do whatever I want to do. I can do it if I want to do it. And there's nothing that can hold me back but myself. And that's why I keep saying all of us are self-sabotaging ourselves every day. The only enemy is the enemy in the mirror. The only enemy is ourselves. That's the only enemy. There is no enemy out here. The enemy is ourselves. Like it says, like Charlie Sheen says at the end of Platoon, we didn't fight the enemy. We fought ourselves. And that's what we're doing every day. We're defeating ourselves with this type of thinking that we think that there's nothing else but that, because nothing's happened in our lives. And someone has done something to us, or we see and we look at the world and we hear all these other people talking this thing where it's just all about doom and gloom and nothing's ever going to happen. And we already know that we're all going to die. We already know about all the bad things. So what are we doing about it? What are we going to do while we are here? This is what I'm saying. And I'm saying this to myself too. I'm not just saying this for people out there. But it's almost like I am just so sick and tired of even me talking about and complaining and doing all these things that I do. It's like enough is enough is enough is enough is enough. And I mean that like a million enoughs is enough. That's how far I am with this thing. And I keep returning to this and I realize I'm the only one that can do it. Nate, you're the only one that can do what you have a vision for. You're the only one that can make something happen that you might want to happen. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to do it. And this is why I am challenging somebody. I'm not challenging you. I'm saying challenge yourself. Maybe say, well, I keep getting myself caught in these situations that I don't like. I keep getting stuck in these depressions and I keep feeling suicidal. Well, what can I do about it? Instead of just moping in it and keep it happening over and over and over. But see, I know how it is to be addicted to sadness. I know how it is, like you can be addicted to a certain kind of sadness. I know about those things and I know how you can get addicted to that type of stuff. But it's like, I've already been there and done that 1,001 times. You see what I'm saying? And I know there's people, I know what you say. It's, oh, well, you understand how everything is and you realize how everything is and you just don't want to live anymore. And you realize there's nothing to live for. And see, that is the mind limiting your own mind. You're limiting yourself. You're putting yourself down. And I do it to myself all the time. But I'm tired of doing that. And I'm tired of seeing other people do it to themselves. Because I see my reflection in them. I see a reflection of what they're going through. And it comes into me. And I see that. And I'm like, it makes me sick to my stomach. Even when I do it with myself, it makes me sick to my stomach. And there's just so many things. This isn't even touching the tip of the iceberg. This is like the very top section. Like if the iceberg is 350 feet long, it's only taking like an inch of the iceberg off what I'm talking about here. This is just one little piece of the carrot in a stew that I'm talking about here. And in order for me to explain this, I'd have to do many videos, many series of videos to explain this. You know, I can't explain it in one night, what I'm attempting to say here. It's just, we are so caught up on doing the same repetitive things every day, and our minds, our brains cannot break loose from that. And I am just to the point where, yes, I am sick and tired of this repetitiveness. I want to do something with my life. I want to have some type of meaning while I am here. Even if it's meaningless in the end, I don't give a shit. I want to be doing something while I'm here. I mean, I'm sitting up in my room and I'm saying all that I'm doing is I'm sitting here waiting to die. I'm sitting here waiting to die. That's all I'm doing. And I said, man, it's almost like I just want to get up and go. It's like I want to get up, get in my car and just go. But I say, where? Where am I going to go? How am I going to do this without resources? How am I going to do this without other people that are on the same thing? And then I realize it's going to have to be me that does this. And I say, well, how can I do this? Maybe I don't have all the tools up here yet, but that is something that I am myself looking into and thinking about and wondering about. And it's what I do every day. I sit and I ponder life every single day. And I can't stop doing it. It's like I'm addicted to it and I can't let it go. You know what I'm saying? I just can't let it go. There's nothing else for me to do here. There's really nothing else. So anyway, that's my rant for tonight. I'll talk to y'all. Take care. Later.